You think you're not attractive. You look in the mirror and see every flaw, every imperfection, every reason why you don't measure up to the guys getting all the attention. But here's what you don't realize. You're probably way more attractive than you think you are. The problem isn't your looks. The problem is you've been measuring attractiveness all wrong. Most men think attraction is about having perfect features, being 6 feet tall or looking like a movie star. But real attraction, the kind that actually matters in the real world, has almost nothing to do with any of that stuff. I'm about to show you 10 signs that you're genuinely attractive to women, even if you've never noticed them before. By the end of this video, you're going to see yourself completely differently. And more importantly, you're going to understand why some guys who look ordinary get way more female attention than guys who look like models. Here's the first sign you're more attractive than you think. People genuinely enjoy talking to you, not just being polite, actually enjoying the conversation. They laugh at your jokes, even the bad ones. They ask follow-up questions about things you've said. They remember details from previous conversations weeks later. This is huge. Most people are so focused on themselves, they barely listen to others. If people consistently engage with you, ask your opinions, and seem interested in your thoughts, you have something most men don't have: genuine likability. And likability is incredibly attractive. But here's what most guys miss. They think this is just being nice or friendly. They don't realize this is actually a massive attractive quality. Women would rather spend time with a guy who makes them feel heard and understood than a guy who just looks good but has nothing interesting to say. The second sign is subtle but powerful. Strangers feel comfortable around you quickly. Maybe it's the cashier who starts telling you about her day. Maybe it's the guy at the gym who asks for advice. Maybe it's kids and dogs who seem drawn to you for no obvious reason. This happens because you give off safe, trustworthy energy. You're not trying too hard. You're not putting on an act. You're just comfortable being yourself, and that comfort is contagious. Other people pick up on it and relax around you. Here's why this matters. Most men are either trying too hard to impress people, or they're so insecure they make others uncomfortable. If you naturally put people at ease, you have a rare gift. Women especially notice when a man feels secure in his own skin. Third sign you're attractive. You have strong opinions about things you care about, but you don't force them on everyone. You know what you like and what you don't like. You have preferences. You have standards, but you're not arrogant about it. This is called having a backbone, and it's incredibly attractive. Too many men are people pleasers who agree with everyone about everything. Or they're so insecure they don't have opinions at all. If you can state your position clearly without being aggressive about it, you stand out immediately. Women are attracted to men who know their own minds, not because they want someone to make all their decisions for them, but because they want someone who adds something to their life instead of just agreeing with everything they say. Here's the fourth sign, and this one might surprise you. People come to you for advice or help with problems. Your friends ask what you think about their relationship drama. Your coworkers run ideas by you. Family members call you when they're dealing with difficult situations. This happens because people see you as stable, thoughtful, and trustworthy. You don't panic under pressure. You think before you react. You give honest advice even when it's not what people want to hear. This is emotional maturity, and it's extremely attractive. Most people are emotional chaos, walking around looking for someone to make them feel better. If you're the person who actually makes them feel better, you have something incredibly valuable. Fifth sign, you're more attractive than you realize. You're genuinely interested in other people, not fake interested, really interested. You ask questions because you actually want to know the answers. You remember things people tell you because you found them interesting, not because you were trying to score points. Most people are terrible listeners. They're waiting for their turn to talk. They're thinking about what they're going to say next instead of paying attention to what's being said. If you're actually listening and engaging with what people share with you, you're already more attractive than 80% of men. Here's why this works. Everyone wants to feel seen and understood. When you give people your genuine attention, you make them feel important, and people are naturally drawn to anyone who makes them feel good about themselves. Sixth sign, and this is a big one, you have passions or interests that you pursue for your own enjoyment, not to impress anyone else. Maybe you play guitar in your apartment and never perform for anyone. Maybe you read history books because you find them fascinating. Maybe you cook elaborate meals just because you enjoy the process. Having genuine interests makes you interesting. It gives you something to talk about besides work and the weather. It shows you're a complete person with your own inner life. Women are attracted to men who have their own thing going on. But here's the key. You do these things because you enjoy them, not because you think they'll make you more attractive. That authenticity is what makes the difference. People can tell when you're genuinely passionate about something versus when you're just trying to look cool. Seventh sign, you're attractive. You're comfortable with silence. You don't feel the need to fill every pause in conversation with noise. You can sit quietly with someone without it being awkward. You don't panic when there's a lull in the conversation. This is confidence. Insecure people are terrified of silence because they think it means they're boring. Confident people understand that comfortable silence is actually a sign of connection. If you can be quiet with someone without feeling anxious about it, you have social confidence that most people lack. Women especially appreciate this because many men talk constantly when they're nervous. A man who's comfortable with quiet moments feels secure and grounded. Here's the eighth sign, and it's controversial. You have boundaries and you enforce them calmly. You say no when you need to say no. You don't let people take advantage of your time or energy. You don't get angry about it. You just quietly redirect or remove yourself from situations that don't work for you. Most men are either pushovers who can't say no to anyone, or they're aggressive about their boundaries and make everything a fight. If you can set limits calmly and consistently, you demonstrate self-respect. And self-respect is incredibly attractive. Women notice when a man values his own time and energy. It suggests he'll also value theirs. It shows he's not desperate for approval or attention. Ninth sign, you're more attractive than you think. You treat everyone with basic respect regardless of what they can do for you. You're polite to waiters, cashiers, cleaning staff, elderly people, children. You don't change your personality based on who you're talking to. This is character, and character is attractive on a deep level. Women pay attention to how men treat people who can't benefit them. It tells them what kind of person you really are when nobody important is watching. If you're consistently kind and respectful to everyone, you demonstrate emotional stability and genuine decency. These qualities become more attractive as people get older and start looking for real partnership instead of just excitement. The 10th and final sign, you're attractive. You can admit when you're wrong, apologize when you mess up, and change course when you get new information. You don't double down on mistakes. You don't get defensive when someone points out an error. You just acknowledge it and move on. This is emotional intelligence, and it's extremely rare. Most people are so insecure they can't admit fault even when they're obviously wrong. If you can take feedback, acknowledge mistakes, and adjust your behavior accordingly, you have a quality that makes long-term relationships actually work. Women are incredibly attracted to men who can grow and adapt because it means they can actually build something together instead of just dealing with someone's ego forever. Now, here's what ties all these signs together. None of them are about your physical appearance. They're all about your character, your emotional stability, and your ability to connect with other people. This is what real attraction looks like in adult relationships. Sure, physical attraction matters initially, but the things that make someone want to spend years with you, the things that make you genuinely attractive as a partner, are all about who you are as a person. If you recognize yourself in several of these signs, you're probably way more attractive than you give yourself credit for. The problem isn't that you're not attractive. The problem is that you're looking for the wrong kind of validation. You're waiting for someone to tell you you're handsome instead of noticing that people genuinely enjoy your company. You're focused on your physical flaws instead of recognizing that people trust you, seek your advice, and feel comfortable around you. If you have most of these qualities, you don't need to change anything about your appearance. You just need to recognize what you already have and stop undermining yourself with negative self-talk. The most attractive thing about anyone is being comfortable with who they are, not arrogant, not thinking they're perfect, just comfortable. If you can be genuinely yourself without apologizing for it, you're more attractive than most people will ever be. So stop focusing on what you think is wrong with you and start appreciating what's actually right with you. Stop comparing yourself to social media and start noticing how people actually respond to you in real life. You might be surprised to discover that you've been attractive all along. You just weren't looking for the right signs. If this changed how you see yourself, subscribe for more content about understanding your own value and building genuine confidence. And tell me in the comments which of these signs you recognize in yourself. Remember, attraction isn't about being perfect. It's about being real, being stable, and being someone people enjoy being around. If you have those qualities, you have everything you need.